In this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate dividends paid when all you know are the retained earnings and the net income for the year. This is the continuation of the series of videos dealing with retained earnings. If you missed the first video in the series, it is linked up here. And what we're going to do here is calculate the amount of dividends paid in the year ending in 2. So here we've got the retained earnings for the year ending in 1, which would be the prior year. We know the ending retained earnings for this year, which is the year ending in 2, and we know the net income for the year. So having all that information, we're going to calculate the actual declared dividends that were paid out. And if you find this kind of information helpful, my name is Professor Capko, and I'd love for you to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. So we're going to go ahead and put in the beginning retained earnings here, which is $100,000. And our net income is going to be added to this. So our net income for the year is $45,000. We go ahead and add those together. And if we do that, we have $145,000. We're going to subtract out our dividends. We don't know the amount of the dividends yet, and that's what we're trying to find out. So I'm going to make that X. And finally, we know the ending retained earnings, which is $120,000, because you're given that number. We're going to solve for X just like an algebra problem. So I'm going to write this out as our beginning retained earnings, 100,000. We're going to add the 45,000, which is our net income. We're going to subtract out our X, which is our dividends, and that's going to equal the 120,000. So in this case, we're solving for the X here. And if you forgot how to solve for X using algebra, I've linked a video up here that might help you remember how to do that. All right, we're going to add these two together, which we already did above. We know is $145,000 minus X is equal to 120,000. We want to get this X by itself. So we're going to move the 145,000 over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 145,000 because it's positive here. I'm going to subtract it. I'm going to subtract the 145,000 on the right side. So this, of course, gives us a 0 here. Minus X is equal to negative 25,000. We don't want to know what negative X is. We want to know what X is. So I'm going to take and multiply both sides by -1. So -1 times negative X and -1 times negative 25,000. Of course, you multiply by -1, it just turns it positive. So I've got X is equal to 25,000. So that means that is our retained earning, our dividends paid. We can go ahead and write that here, minus the 25,000. And let's just check our work to make sure it works. So if we have the 145,000, which is the net income plus the retained earnings, and we're going to now subtract 25,000, that gives us 120,000, which is the ending retained earnings, so we know it's correct. So now you know another technique in calculating the dividends if you know the retained earnings and the net income. But there are more techniques to know. So if you would, go ahead and subscribe to learn those additional techniques. So keep your grade alive and subscribe. Thank you.